Hey everyone, it's Kayla here for Soy and Shea, and thank you so much for joining me for today's soap baking video. A little while ago I had a customer come into a shop and she described a soap to me that she'd seen online and really wanted to purchase, but she said that the maker was in America and she couldn't afford the shipping to get it over here, and was there any chance I could make the soap? Now, I did explain to my customer that I do not replicate other people's soaps because they've come up with those designs. That is their creation and it is not for me to copy. However, I could take inspiration from the design and create something new. Now, she did show me a picture of the soap, and when I had a bit more of a look at it, this creator, she uses melt and pour to create her soaps. She pours a nice flat slab of it and then she puts lots of little clouds on the top and then cuts them so that the soaps are pretty much flat. So I drew inspiration from this and decided to do my usual soap design where they're standing up, and not only was I going to put clouds on the top of my soap, but I was also going to put them all the way through as well. Now, as I started to work on this design, I decided why not also create a field of flowers, because there's nothing better than lying down in a field and watching all the clouds floating by and trying to pick little images out in them. So that is what I aimed to do with this soap, and I'm going to be calling this one Cloud 9. Let's go and see how I make it. Alright, so let's see if this idea for this soap actually comes together the way I am envisaging it will. I'm going to add my lime water into my oils, and I'm only going to bring this to emulsion because I need some of my soap to be super fluid for part of my design. So I'll get this mixed in and then we'll start splitting up for a few colours. Alright, so that is looking pretty good. First thing I'm going to do is break off a bit of green to go in the bottom of my mould, and we're going to use a fair amount, probably about there. This is one that I have been sent. It's called High Society from Nurture Soap. It was sent to me by Tiara from Gypsy Faye. The other colours, I've got an array of colours in here, and I want all of these to stay super liquid fluid for me. So I know you can't really see what's in these, but we have got a bit more of that green, and I'm literally pouring off just a small amount into these cups. I really don't want much. I'm just going to succeed in making a mess here, so we might pull the stick blender out and pop it into that green, because that will be the first one we work with. Over here I've got a little bit of Orange Vibrance, again a Nurture Soap one. This one I have got some Magic Violet, which is a purple. I have got some Wellington, I think it was, yep, Wellington, which is a yellow. And in this one I have got some Cerise, and I'm literally just pouring off very, very small amounts of these. Hopefully I have poured enough off. It's one of those things I can never really decide. I don't think I have quite enough yellow. Alright, I'm just going to pop that one off to the side. I actually think I poured off too much green, so I'm going to pour some of that in there, given it's the same colour. These ones I'm just going to leave to the side for a moment, and we'll work with this rather full jug of green. Hopefully we don't spill. Let's get it mixed up. We'll put some fragrance in, and then I'm going to pour it into my mould. Right, so it looks like we're having a messy day of soaping today. I'm getting drips and all sorts everywhere, but we're going to keep persisting now that we've actually started. The fragrance that I'm using today is one that I use in my Sunshine range of products, and I chose this one because it really does feel like a beautiful either summer or spring day where you're looking up at the blue sky and just watching those clouds drift on by. It's got notes of ginger, verbena and lime, so it's really nice and bright and fresh and clean, but it's also got a little bit of bamboo and freesia and a bit of driftwood and musk sort of aromas. So it's got that slightly woody sort of smell as well that you might associate with like earthy smells. So that's why I chose this one, because I just think it works in perfectly. What I'm going to do is just let this sit for a moment, because I want this in here to set up, and then we're going to texture it just a little bit to make it look like it's a mound of grass. While it's setting up, I am going to start very gently just stirring these colors in, but I want this to stay nice and fluid. To do my texturing, I'm just going to use the end of my spoon. I found this gives a kind of really nice finer look, and I'm not doing too much. I'm just moving it a little bit because I don't want it completely flat. I want this to look like it's a little grassy mound. And then we're going to take all those colors that I've just done, and we're just going to slowly start dribbling them over the top. It will make sense once I start doing it. And what I want it to kind of look like is this field of brightly colored flowers. So I have just left this sit here for about 5 to 10 minutes because that soap was so fluid. It still has just a tiny bit of movement in there as I'm rocking it backwards and forwards, but hopefully by the time we get the rest of our soap mixed up, that is going to be set. But I really don't want to sit this for much longer because it is kind of at that medium sort of trace now. I know my fragrance oil is going to thin it out, but I still don't want to risk it just in case, because soap can do some funky things on us. Anyway, what I've done, because this has been sitting and is that bit thicker and I don't want to stick blend it for too long, I have mixed my color. I don't want to lose my spatula and my soap. I've actually mixed my blue coloring up in this cup. I have got some cornflower blue and I've put in some neon blue mica as well to really get that blue to pop. And what I'm going to do, I've dispersed it with a little bit of oil, but I'm also going to add some of my soap in here just to really help it mix through my main batter. So just putting some of that in there. Going to make just a whole lot of mess. Why not? Give that a good stir and into our main pot. And I'm only going to do one color in the top because I really want the clouds to pop in my sky. So I think there's enough going on in that bottom layer there that we should just be able to have a beautiful sky blue, hopefully, once we get all this mixed in. Just give that a bit of a stir, and then I'm going to get the fragrance in here and I'll give it a quick blitz with this stick blender just to make sure everything is well incorporated. Alright, that's had a good mix. I don't want it to go too thin because we have got some cloud embeds to go in here, and I don't want to be waiting forever to be able to put the embeds in. It is such a tricky thing of finding that sort of fine line between being too fluid and too thick to get really nice pour around our embeds. If it's too thick and you put embeds in, you can actually see where you've stopped pouring to put those embeds in it. So yeah, it's that real fine line of getting it just right, but I think we're there. Loving the color that is right now. So let's grab our mold, and I'm going to pour in a layer of my blue before we start putting any clouds in. I'm going to try and do this without making any more mess than what I have already done, because this is still a little bit fluid. I'm going to pour it onto my spatula, so hopefully, oh, it's still way too fluid, so that's not going to work. So we're going to have a rather dinted lot of flowers down here. So what we might do is make some more mess. Let's grab this jug I was using before. Gonna pour some off and try again, but trying it so I'm pouring it lower and slower, and that might help. Not really. Too late. Gotta keep going. I think the design will still be there. It was just, it's moved my flowers a little bit more than what I wanted them to be moved. Okay, so now we've got the first bit of sky in. I'm going to start putting some little cloud embeds in here, and I have used one of the Wicked Lee extruder disc shapes, and I have also got a special plate to go into my I Dream of Soap extruder disc, so I was able to extrude these ones out. Let me put a bit more soap on here. So that was one of the small clouds. Look at all this dripping mess I'm making. I've had one of those weeks with making soap this week that every soap I've attempted to make, I have got so much mess all over the place. This is the bigger cloud, and I'm going to kind of put that in the middle, push it down to make sure we have got soap around it. I don't think I've got any soap under that bit of cloud there. So let's make sure we've got soap in there, so we don't get any air pockets. Give it a good push. That's it. Let's put a bit more soap in, and then I've got one more small one to go in here as well before we actually start doing the top. Okay, so I was trying to decide what to do with my top, whether to have it all peaked up or whether to have it nice and flat. Now, to me, the sky is flat and the clouds are fluffy, so I went to do it all completely flat. When I worked out how much soap I needed, I just used my standard amount of soap oils that I do, but I did have about 300 grams worth of embeds that have gone into this, and I didn't take that into account. So knowing that, I did have a kids mold off to the side here. Let me grab it. And I have put all my excess soap into a kids mold, and I just decided to go flat on here and put that excess in that mold. What I'm doing at the moment, I have got some Daffodil Fields biodegradable glitter, which is from Pimp My Soap, and I'm just sprinkling that all across the top. It's got this beautiful yellow, but also a really nice white shimmer through it as well, so it looks a little bit like sun rays going across the top of my soap here. Let me get this lot back out the way so I can bring in my little clouds. And these are the little clouds I'm going to be putting on the top, and I have done it so there should be enough to have a few clouds on each of these. I just have to decide whether I want to. I always end up putting them all nicely lined up, but let's try and not do that today. Let's just pop them wherever they end up. They're all going the same way. Let me just randomly, I need to randomly put these on here, but they are looking super cute. Love these little clouds. So hopefully the customer who requested this is going to like the design that I have come up with. It is not identical to the one that she showed me. This is my own take on it, but hopefully it's got these little clouds, which is what she actually really liked about the other soap, was these little clouds, and we've gone all out on the inside. So I'm going to keep popping these on the top, and once I've got them on, I will bring you down for a closer look. Okay, so there is cloud watching in the mold. I am so super happy with how this has come up. I'm going to leave it sit overnight and we'll be back in just a moment and we'll cut it open and we'll see what happened to our layer of flowers when I poured that sky in. Alright, so we're back to cut into our soap. I'm loving the look of it so far. It is a little bit more green than what I was hoping my blue would be, but I think that's the fragrance oil. It doesn't discolour in my other soap that I use this particular fragrance in, but it does seem to have done so here. Now, while it's been sitting here on the bench waiting for me to cut it, I decided I was going to rename this from Cloud or whatever I was calling it, I really can't remember now, to Cloud 9. And I'm sure I've already mentioned that in the beginning of the video as well as in the title. But I'm going to cut through. Oh, it's firmed up a fair bit. Oh, we're going to have a wiggly line, I think, because I stopped while cutting that. But that has firmed up an awful lot. Oh, there is the inside. So what I was really trying to aim for is that field of flowers and then some clouds drifting on by, and I think I have kind of got that. The sky, as I said, is a little bit greener than what I was aiming for, so it does kind of look like the ground and the sky are almost the same colour, but I am really, really pleased with how that has come up. And you know what, even though all of that colour did move on me, I can show you on the next bar, I was trying to really go for more of a flat field of flowers, but I'm actually quite pleased that it did move on me a bit. It's not so much moved down there, but like on these first ones, it looks like we've got some rolling hills of flowers and stuff. So really, really pleased with how it came up. I did do a quick story on my Instagram showing that I had made this soap after getting a request from one of my customers who came in store, and they have seen the story and are really excited that they're going to be able to come in and grab this soap once it is all cured and done. So hopefully this one will be available. It's almost the end of February now, so it should be available by the end of March. It is smelling really, really good, and I do absolutely love how those flowers have come up. And I keep showing you the inside, but the main point of this one was to do clouds on the top of the soap, so I'm really pleased with how that's looking. I hope you've enjoyed coming along with me as I made my Cloud 9 soap. If you did, why not leave me a thumbs up and any comments down below. And until the next video comes out, I hope you have a good one and I will see you then. Bye.